All right, everybody, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And funny, right before I started recording this, the Gaming Revolution released a brand new video that was only like 30 minutes posted before, like it's only been online for 30 minutes. And I was starting to watch it, and I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'll watch it later. I'll just keep recording. And I guess the rumor is that on Thursday, today, as of this recording, it's there's going to be some sort of reveal or tease for the next Call of Duty game. And we will see. I'm actually really curious to see because I made a video one or two postings ago basically saying how on my poll, 40% of you thought that there would be a reveal this week and 60% of you didn't. So it's going to be really interesting to see who was right and who was wrong. I personally think that there is going to be, but we'll see. It's really interesting. But nonetheless, I think that in this month, there's going to be a reveal at some point. If it doesn't happen this week, I personally think it could happen next week. So only time will tell. We will see what happens, but it's exciting, man. It's the month of May, and we're gonna get a new reveal really soon. Hopefully we'll have some sort of online multiplayer reveal event that really goes into the details of the game, and hopefully the game itself will actually accommodate a multitude of playstyles, which is what I wanted to talk about in this commentary. And I would probably say over the last 6 years or so, give or take, I would probably say that Call of Duty World War II is probably overall the most balanced COD in terms of gameplay design. And what I mean by gameplay design, well, it does accommodate all playstyles. Like in this gameplay here specifically, 90% of the people are camping their fucking asses off, in case you haven't noticed already. And you're going to notice even more as time goes on. They are just camping their asses off. Now, I know I can't get away with rushing like this if I were to play Modern Warfare. Fuck no. That game is just not designed for that. And that's what keeps it out of balance, in my opinion. Despite the fact that Call of Duty is actually meant to be a casual shooter, there still has to be a balance. You can't be too one-sided in terms of gameplay design. In other words, you can't cater to a certain play style too much with Call of Duty, unless that play style is like a little bit more aggressive, but you don't want to get it to a point to where it's aggressive to where you have advanced movement. Call of Duty fans have been repeating themselves that they're done with advanced movement. They don't. I mean, it was good for when it was out, but it wasn't overall received as well as Activision and the developers were hoping. I personally enjoyed the advanced movement of all the Call of Duty games that came out during that time. I enjoyed all three of them. I thought they brought something really unique to the table in terms of movement, but at the same time, the Call of Duty community was right when they said it just doesn't feel like COD. Let's see, Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare were really aggressive with their advanced movement. And Treyarch, even though they were fast and everything like that, and even though there was a good amount of advanced movement, you could still play boots on the ground and succeed in that game. And that's why I think Black Ops 3, overall from a gameplay standpoint, maybe not an overall standpoint, it really depends on who you talk to, but from a gameplay standpoint, it was well received because in terms of how you could play, it was actually pretty well balanced. So, and if you look at, for instance, Ghosts, a little too much on the campy side, Modern Warfare, too campy, Infinite Warfare, too rushy, Black Ops 3, fairly well balanced, Advanced Warfare, too rushy, Black Ops 2, balanced, Black Ops 1, balanced. So, but in terms of the recent years, since the Black Ops 2 days or whatnot, Modern Warfare 3 even was balanced as well. But when you look at it from an overall standpoint, I mean, seriously, I think that World War II is probably the most balanced Call of Duty that we've had in quite a long time. Even more balanced than Black Ops 4. I mean, don't even get me started on Black Ops 4. Again, I don't hate Black Ops 4. This is not me hating on Black Ops 4 because I'm starting to enjoy World War II more than I ever did or anything like that. That's not the case at all. The case is that Black Ops 4, even when I played a lot of Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 as well over the last few years, right? You guys have seen this, especially if you've been on my streams or if you've been watching the kind of videos that I've been posting in terms of the gameplay in the background. The thing is, I haven't always been playing Black Ops 4. Have I played a ton of Black Ops 4? Absolutely. But have I always been playing it? No. And as of recently, because the game is older as time goes on, as well as the fact that, well, the DLC weapons and the cheese that are in those and everything else is just it's really getting out of hand, so to speak. So I can't take Black Ops 4 in too much of a large dose, not because it's too rushy. I love rush games. That's the way I play. I mean, look at this gameplay. So the thing is that it's too much cheese or too much of anything that knocks the balance out of a Call of Duty is not good for the game. there has to be a significant amount of balance. Like even when it comes to weapons, like for instance, the game is meant to be casual, so therefore every weapon can and should be used and should become viable. Is that the case in a game like, let's say, Modern Warfare? No. Is that the case in a game like, let's say, even Black Ops 4? You know, whenever you get into a free-for-all or whatnot, there's a lot of people that are using pretty much nothing but DLC weapons, because the DLC weapons are stronger than the base weapons. There are a few exceptions here and there, but seriously, when you look at it overall, when it comes to the DLC weapons, they're strong as shit. They're overpowered. Like the crossbow itself is one of the most broken weapons in Call of Duty history in Black Ops 4. The crossbow, the micro 9mm, the oh, what's it called? There's one more. But anyway, you guys get the point. There's just a lot of cheese in that game. And with the specialist, it only adds to it even more. So, I mean, I appreciate what they're doing in terms of adding content to the game and obviously making the content grindable as opposed to the bullshit system that they had previously, because they're obviously changing things up, which is great. But when you look at Black Ops 4 from a design standpoint, it is too one-sided in the cheese department. I like the fact that it is aggressive. I like that, but you can't have aggressiveness with too much cheese, because all of a sudden you get random chaos, and random chaos is okay, but not in large doses in Call of Duty. There still needs to be a balance factor, not to the point to where every match needs to be like a quote unquote competitive MLG match or anything like that. But like back in the Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 days or whatnot, you could use, like, if you knew what you were doing, you know, because there was no skill-based matchmaking. At least not to this aggressiveness, right? There was none of that. There were a good amount of people playing, and the thing is, with Black Ops 1, for instance, I mean, if you were good, you can run around with a shotgun. Even though the shotguns were weak in that game, if you were good, you can run around with a shotgun and still play the OBJ. Like Excalazores has demonstrated that greatly over his channel. He's the one who basically, back in the day, you know, he was the one who basically did that. He would use Black Ops 1 day, Black Ops 2 and stuff like that. He was the guy that basically used everything. Like the Executioner, okay, in Black Ops 2, and Excalizore's combat record was in his top 5 used weapons. Like we're talking not even 10% for every weapon used. You know, he liked to spread the love around. And that's how it was like back in the day with Call of Duty. You know what I mean? It was very casual, but at the same time, if you knew what you were doing, you could still kick ass with even the weakest weapons. But those weapons were fun to use because every weapon has its own feel to it. It has its own iron sights. It has its own recoil pattern. It's like those weapons are there to be used. And if you become too competitive, or if the balance is not fully right or whatnot, or whatever the deal is, to where the other weapons are so powerful to where you can't, you can't use the other weapons, there's a problem with that. So the thing is, but right now, as time went on, you really can't do that anymore. Now, it's not that I don't have faith in anybody or anything like that, but the thing is, it's like, you can't really do it to the degree that you did it, like back in the day, like in Modern Warfare, or even Black Ops 4, or even a few of the other Call of Duties. If you use too many different varying weapons, you're gonna get your butt handed to you because they're not up to par. Like for instance, if you play a free for all and you get into a gun, and if you use, like, let's say in Black Ops 4, let's say I use what's the gun called? Let's say I use the Cordite, right? I use the Cordite a lot. I love the Cordite. But if I get in a fair gunfight, in a one-on-one gunfight against somebody who's got the micro 9mm, or whatever that thing is called, or a VMP, or a crossbow or whatnot, let me tell you something. I'm going to lose. I am going to lose. And especially with the crossbow having a ridiculous amount of aim assist on that bitch. Oh my gosh. So, you know what I mean? You can't, gun skill, when you do something like that, gun skill isn't as viable anymore. And when you look at this game, gun skill still is viable. Like, I've used a multitude of weapons, and they're not just variants, they're base weapons as well. And the variants are said to pretty much not do anything in terms of the gun stats, except for, the iron sights being different in the way the gun looks. So, which is the way it should be done, in my opinion. So, when you look at it from every single standpoint, Call of Duty World War II really is really well balanced. Seriously, like, if you're a camper, you do it right, you can succeed in any game mode. If you're a rusher, you can succeed in any game mode, granted you do it right. So, and that's what a Call of Duty is. Play your cards right, you're going to succeed. But at the same time, if you want to fuck around, you can. You just have to, again, do it right. So, and that's the difference. Even though Call of Duty is meant to be a casual game, there's always going to be that difference of, if you know what you're doing and you understand how the game works, you're still going to have an advantage over the people that do not. And that's just the way it is with everything. So, You know, we can't be implementing skill-based matchmaking into a game or having certain design decisions into a game to protect the quote-unquote noobs or whatnot. It's like it ruins the game in the long run. And a lot of people have said this. I'm not the only one that said this, but it's something that is going to take some time for the developers as well as the publisher to take notice, because eventually it's going to implode. So, but the thing is, they're doing a good job of countering that, because they're releasing a free-to-play formula. So people are going to play something that's free to play, even if there's a lot of bullshit into it. And you guys have given me a lot of feedback in the previous video that I posted in terms of why people go back to play Modern Warfare. So, so the thing is, when you look at it from every single standpoint, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that over the last 6 years, give or take, that World War II is actually the most balanced Call of Duty. It's not noisy. There's not too much cheese. I mean, is it perfect? No. The snipers are broken. The score streaks aren't really that good. They could be better. Although you guys have told me with Blitzkrieg, they are considerably better. But when you look at it from every single standpoint, COD World War II is actually a very well-balanced Call of Duty game, and there's lots to do in the game. So, so yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due, man. So it definitely wins in that aspect. So that's all I got for this one, guys. As the day progresses, I am going to be watching. I won't forget my phone this time when I go to work, but I will be watching to see if there's any reveals today. So I'm excited about that. I hope you guys stay safe out there. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys on the next video and/or stream. Take care.